Welcome to the fifth installment of Let's Get It On, the Bastarnost Forest Ambush. So here we find ourselves in the foresty hills of Petrodava, just across the river Prut. Literally 5 centimeters into Bastarnos lands. We're supposed to be occupied in another war, and they show up and ambush us. We will be fighting against the Brazen Bears, a 3,000 strong man army, against our 2,000 strong force. I guess we should start with the enemy we can see. Across the forest, we see the enemy brought cavalry. It's basically the same cavalry as we have, the light skirmishers. And they also have a whole bunch of Carpi swordsmen. A really whole bunch. I think most of the army is just Carpi swordsmen. At least 4 units to the left. And to the right we have traitors. Dacian traitors. We have Folksmen Dacian traitors and Bowmen Dacian traitors. And they're also backed up with some Celtic bowmen. That's all we can see. We're literally surrounded, and this was one hectic battle, only lasted 8 minutes, and I was all over the place giving orders. We will start the fight by joining the left flank, where the enemy chose to charge at us through the woods with his cavalry, yeah, this is why you don't charge through the forest, because your horsemen get stuck on trees, and you lose a lot of the initial impact. But still, this was exactly what I was talking about. Still, this is a bad engagement for us. Luckily, we had our youths around, and they got the blunt of it, and they at least have shields. And we also managed to cut them off a bit with the flanksmen while they tried to circle charge. And then our youths pelted them. Ooh, look at this piñata. Oh, whoa. Poor guy. And then our youths managed to gun them down, hunt them as they flee. So let's check what's happening at the rest of the battle, since the enemy cavalry won't be coming back. We are practically surrounded, and our main line is here. This is the affectionately called Malva line, the 3 units of levies. They are trying to hold their own against superior forces, both more men and better fighting men. So imagine me this: you're a simple farmer. One day people give you a spear and call you a levy. You join because some of your kinsmen speak of this warrior king that captures most of Dacia and is going to war against the Celtic invaders. No real training is being done, other than this 16-year-old girl that drills you every now and then, and even she seems to be gone lately. Army life seems to be all about setting camp and marching. You've been marching for more than a year. You just crossed the river and it's just another day of marching. Then you hear someone shouting, "Protect the king!" And you're doing your best to try and form a line against the Celtic invaders, who are better equipped and actually trained. These are real professional fighting men. You're outnumbered. Here you're outnumbered 3-1. Here you're outnumbered 2-1. And here you're also outnumbered 2-1. Spoiler alert, this line will break. There is no way they can hold such a superior forces. So my master tactician plan was to concentrate all my elite forces, the X-Men and the Folksmen, on the far right flank with my cavalry, and just hopefully create some maneuvering space by just taking out some of their units on the right, and then keep hammering on the enemy where in this valley where there isn't any forest, so we can actually maneuver our cavalry, because this is our only advantage. But to my surprise, their king was here, or at least their general. So that really turned out to our favor. We managed to corner him between our unit of Volksmen, and our king himself came to help, and this was the skirmish that won the whole fight, because we did manage to kill the enemy general. This is us like cycle charging, and after their king or their general broke, they really lost morale and started also breaking. In order to better understand what happened on the right flank, we should restart the battle and take a closer look. So, since I noticed there's mostly light units here, I concentrated all my elites and cavalry on this flank. Our king, despite getting some heavy shots from everywhere, he did manage to cut down a whole unit of archers. These were the weakest archer unit, the Celtic one. They're really basically just naked men with bows, and we killed most of them, and they just ran away in just one charge. Then we stopped. This was actually an interesting maneuver. We stopped their main force here, which is Volksmen and some light spear unit. We just managed to pin them down with our cavalry, and then change positions with X-Men. So they will be engaged with cavalry, and we can sneak out behind them with our cavalry. Did I say they will engage in cavalry? They will engage with infantry. So here just one of our units is pinning two of theirs, and we should really try and support them. And here we trapped their most, and here is our cavalry already going to try and flank. Here we pinned another of their units with our Volksmen. This is a really good engagement, because our Volksmen are really good at cutting down enemies, and this is, I think, our mercenaries who also really are good shock cavalry. And here we are trying to disengage because we won this fight, and are trying to focus all of our cavalry. Oh, we already got here. These are the light horses. We are shooting into the scuffle over here and charging. What a lovely charge. And again, we got really lucky, because I think this is their general's unit, and they found themselves in really pinned in by our elite forces. This was more luck than any real strategic thinking. And here we keep cycle charging, because again I thought that they will just break here, and then we will use our cavalry from this position to keep cycle charging them, because really I thought this is a lost fight and we should just try and kill as many enemies as we can and just retreat. But no, just have a good show of it. But we actually managed to do this. Again, this is their king dying. Some really epic king on king action. And here we brought our cavalry, 2 units of cavalry, the mercenaries and the light cavalry, to slowly push them in. Oh, what a lovely shot. To slowly break them, like 1 unit at a time. and then we free up more of our infantry to extend the flanking line. So they come here, they form, and then they will charge, and I assume the horses will do the same. Charge! I'm actually proud of myself. This isn't easy to do in while you're playing live. This is just a replay, so it's easier to commentate. And yeah, this is our main line, the Malva line, breaking, and actually I did execute my plan. Oh, this is somewhat of a desperate charge. I think I'm charging with everything I have here. Slingers, youth, whatever, just to try and hold them in place for the cavalry to get here. And then the general has an ability to shout and try to rally the men, and I used it, and I think I got some. And here are my slingers, who really didn't do much. They're just here for the morale value. Because imagine you're this soldier. You see your king is dead. You did manage to win the fight, but you're surrounded. There's enemy cavalry. There are naked men with big swords, and there are more enemies at the woods. You're just surrounded, and you know what? I'm out of this. I just don't want to participate anymore. This is not what I was promised. And look at them. These are men with clothes and stuff. Real armor. No wonder our men ran away. And yeah, this is just the mop-up. We basically won. And here I will do an interesting tradition that I do sometimes after we cut them down, because I really didn't want any of these to get away, because these are some well, for now they're elite unit, but they're somewhat mid-range units, but for us they are tough, because really we don't really have any real infantry that can deal with that. And we are slowly falling. Here we can see on the hill the general and the light horses cutting down more fleeing units. And the enemy really, there was a lot of enemy. This is my mid-battle triumph parade. Any moment now they will part ways. I said part ways. Please, would you part ways, make room for the unit that again won us the battle, the mercenary cavalry, the Dacian mercenary cavalry. Again, they barely took any casualties. Oh, no, these are not the droids I'm looking for. These are the droids I'm looking for. Again, barely took any casualties. And again, they're not running down enemies, so most of their kills will be pure kills. So I just imagine the leader of this unit really basking in his glory. Like, look at me. You have a king, but I delivered you victory. And I guess the men are cheering him on. Yeah. I don't know, anyone else does this? I find this really fun. Because just running down enemies isn't that exciting, and I'm a real pedant about trying to kill as many enemies as I can, especially on this mode. It's kind of really important. You get more slaves and you get less army to fight with, because a lot of them did manage to get away. At least a third of the force did manage to sneak away. And since I'm fighting without all kind of banners and stuff, on, it's really hard to find soldiers that are running away and give the orders. So this was the lovely ambush, and we won! Hip hip huzzah! And welcome once again to the best part of these videos, the showing of the numbers. I guess some of our new slaves spilled the beans on the enemy and we found out the general's name, Dacios, which is an odd name for a Germanic Celt, if I may say so myself. Our king really fought well and hard in this one, mainly because he was forced to. But he did manage to turn the tables and almost counter-ambush the enemy general. He also fought the enemy general himself, because the enemy general would have cut down the Folksman, pinning him down if he was left unchecked. All the levies, our Malva line, got pounded hard and ran away in a true shameful display. One of these units only managed to get 6 kills. It only shows that we really can't afford to rely on them for much longer. The problem is we can't really afford better men. I think the difference between a levy and our first tier spear unit is like 70 gold in upkeep, I mean. And then we can't, and it's not really much of an upgrade. So, I don't know, food for thought. The official MVPs of the fight are the Light Horse with 745 kills. They were the most maneuverable with a speed of 6, and they also have the Parthian shot that lets them actually shoot while they're moving. So even while they were moving to flank an enemy, they were still acting as an archer unit. And speaking of the archers, they did their best considering the circumstances. The youth really saved the day in the rear, taking the blunt of the enemy horse charge and then pursuing the horsemen on foot through the forest. And still they managed to get back in time and join the desperate charge after the Malva line broke. The Flexmen and the X-Men both performed well and fought bravely while taking some bad casualties. And of course, the Kingslayers, our horse mercenaries that fought and chased off King Drilgisa in Pelendava, once again have shown their worth with only 3 losses and 300 kills, and then even rallying the men in the victory parade. Hard numbers, we lost 807 men, 15 of these to friendly fire. I like these numbers, mostly because we killed 2,771 men. That's most of the enemy army. Only 560 men got away, and something tells me that we are going to see them very soon.